Hey guys, I'm the Cheese Man and I'll be your delivery driver today. I just wanted to start off by talking about, deliveries to your house or your residence rather, depending if apartments or whatever. If you order pizza or other food from our store and then leave your house, it's gonna make things complicated. And what I mean is your food will be sitting there. That delivery driver who has other deliveries he needs to get to, not that yours isn't important, you leaving to go pick up beer or cigarettes or cash from the ATM or whatever, couldn't that have been done before you placed your order? We're actually very, very efficient and just very good at what we do, most of us. I mean, I can't speak for other pizza places. You're letting your food sit there and get cold. You're holding up another person from doing what they got to do. And like I mentioned in my last video, we're humans, and it's also we work on a time limit. A lot of people believe that pizza delivery drivers, when they're on the road, they're not timed. I think that's probably the biggest thing. We're so critiqued on how long we take to get from the store to the customer and back. We're actually critiqued and timed on that so tightly. If everybody leaves their place of residence after placing the order, and the delivery drivers, we have to sit there for 5-10 minutes, that actually affects the next order. So imagine you doing it and the person before you did it, which means it'll take even longer for you to get your food. What if you didn't even leave your house to go get something and then come back, but the person before you did, and we take an extra 10 minutes getting your food to you, though you were expecting it to be there in 20 minutes, it might be there in 25 or 30 minutes, and I know, as someone who's been a customer to other places, that you were expecting faster service. Well, now you're upset, and you don't know what happened, and it's unfair to you because you didn't do it. Well, there's people out there who will place an order. Oh no, I don't have any cash on me. Let me go run to the ATM. It's just discourteous. I understand that there's some circumstances where you have to leave. But the only reason the only times that's understandable is when there's a life-changing emergency. Someone was hospitalized, someone needed you to pick them up from somewhere or whatever. But if you're just leaving because you want to get a pack of cigarettes, well, do that before you place the order, or get your food, then do that. If you didn't have any money, well, whatever card you're going to use at the ATM could have been used to pay for that order. It doesn't just affect your order, it affects future orders, because if it's just me and one other delivery driver at the store, because, scheduling, then, well, now I'm going to take an extra 10 minutes because you went to the store, and now there's another delivery that's going to take another 10 minutes to complete, which is going to be another delivery to, so on and so forth. Just try to think of it, when you decide to do that, try to think of this, what you're watching right now. Just keep that in mind. The next thing I want to talk about is the delivery fee, if there is one for the pizza place you're ordering from. Generally, it's not a tip to the driver. That driver, especially at the store I work at, that driver doesn't see that delivery fee. That's not a tip, and I understand you might honestly believe that it's money paid to the driver. And I get that, I do. Because I know people who actually believe that. Someone told them that or whatever. And I get it, so I'm not fussing. I'm just clearing things up. It's not a tip. If you believe that driver deserves a tip because you know that they put miles on their car, burn up the gas in their car, and everything else, whatever reason you want to tip them, because it's to me it's the right thing to do. Even before I worked for a pizza place, I believed it was the right thing to do, because that's how that driver survives. say something. Ask, hey, is that a tip for you? Are you going to see that money? We can't actually come to you about a tip. We're not allowed to. It's rude, I guess is the word for it. It's rude, and and I can see how that can be seen that way. And not everybody believes tipping is the way to go. If you paid with a card, but you don't have any cash, which is why you paid with a card, a lot of people don't know that you can tip on the receipt. There's usually a line that, like, it'll have your total for what you ordered. Then there's a little line next to it. It'll say tip or gratuity or something. And then there's another line under that that'll say total next to it. And under that's a big line where you sign. Even if you don't want to do the math, put $1 or $2 or $5, however much you want to put. You know, the more the better, of course, for us. But, you know, don't count it as, or try not to count it as part of the cost of the meal. It's just like when you go to a restaurant and you tip the server. It's part of my means of living. It's just how I get by every day. Drivers do get to keep every bit that you tip. The driver, he or she, will get to keep that. It's not like it's a pooled tip, at least where I work. I can't speak for other places, but where I work, the driver keeps whatever he or she may make. So don't worry, it's not going into a pool. People who have nothing to do with it won't get any of it. Now, if that driver decides, you know what, people on Make Line were busting hump to make this order because it's a really big order, I'm gonna give him a couple dollars. You know, that's between him and the people in the store. But drivers have the option to keep, at the store I work at, every penny that they make. Tips aren't free money. Try not to look at it like it's free money that you're just giving away. It's money that we earned by getting your order to you as quickly as we could within legal limits. But it is money that as I mentioned before, that we get by on. Being a delivery driver, you know, it's not just sitting in your car listening to music, getting to the customer. You've got to think more about street laws than anybody who doesn't drive for a living. Anybody who doesn't drive for a living, it's simply A to B, and that's it. See, we've got A through Z back around to A again sometimes. You know, we put more miles because there's a lot more short-term distance. And I know we chose this job to some people. Some people believe we had thousands of choices and no. Most of the time, people who are living on delivery driving, it's because that's just where we're at right now with our lives. It's just to keep the maintenance on the vehicle, you know, it's so we can keep food in our fridge. And I don't mean like big steaks or anything. I mean, I'm just talking just to keep ramen noodles in the pantry, you know. So just a little compassion, please. That's basically it. You know, just if you don't want to tip the driver for whatever reason, I'm not going to go into why you don't want to tip a driver. Whatever reason you're not tipping, don't tell us that, oh, I don't have any money on me now, but I'll tip you later. It gets our hopes up. It makes us believe we have a tip. We wind up asking the management if someone ever came in with a tip. And we keep asking about it, and then next thing you know, we've got management upset that we're getting to them about this imaginary tip. Just, if you're not going to tip, just go on about your day. Get your food, pay for it, and live your life. Though I'd really rather you tipped, even if it's just $1. If you pull $1 out of your pocket and say, you know what, I'm sorry I don't have more, but here you go. You know how I view it, and most of my coworkers view it? They tried. They honestly wanted to tip and believe in their heart that they were tipping a good tip. You made an attempt. But if you're just not going to tip, well, then just don't tip. We just know, you know, unfortunately, when we go to your house, we're just not going to get some basic tip from you. We just know we'll just take the basic effort, the flatline effort with you. And I'm sorry, it is what it is. If you won't look out for me, I'm just not gonna look out for you. And I hate to break it to you, but it is what it is. You want the free napkins and whatnot, but we know you're not gonna tip. We might bring those things. Just not quite enough to get you by, because you're not giving us quite enough to get by. And I'm just asking a couple dollars here and a couple dollars there. Now there are people who tip generously, where I'm looking at $10 in my hand, and I'm not asking you to do that. Though I'd appreciate every bit of that generous tip that those of you who do tip generously will tip. But that's enough for me. So just remember, try not to leave your place of residence after you've placed an order. Try to get it together before or after your order has before your order's been placed or after your order's been delivered to you. The driver keeps his or her tips, and those tips are not free money. It's what we actually need to get by in our regular, our day-to-day lives. So just remember that, and just remember, always tip your delivery driver. Thank you.